I'm giving you a warning. Do not watch this alone. What I am about to tell you will change the way you see one of the world's greatest wonders. The Great Wall of China was never just a wall. It was built with human suffering, with death, with bones buried beneath its stones. And the spirits of those who died, they say, have never left. So, find a friend, turn on the lights, and prepare yourself. Because tonight, we're walking the most haunted structure on Earth. Construction of the Great Wall spanned centuries. Entire dynasties rose and fell while its stones were being laid, and the human cost was staggering. We're talking hundreds of thousands of people, some historians argue it could be over 1 million, who perished laboring on this colossal project. Who were they? They were prisoners of war, peasants dragged from their fields, and soldiers forced into brutal manual labor. Their lives were cut short by exhaustion, by starvation, by disease, and by countless accidents. It's said that many of them were buried right inside the very wall they were building, their bodies becoming part of the structure itself. This grim reality has earned the Great Wall a chilling nickname in local legends, the longest cemetery on Earth. And some people believe the wall remembers every single life that was lost. They say it holds on to their pain, their anger, their sorrow. The stones themselves seem to cry out with the stories of the dead. It's not just a historical monument. It's a testament to a level of human sacrifice that is almost impossible to comprehend. The first signs that something was wrong came from those who knew the wall best. For centuries, guards stationed at remote sections, far from the bustling tourist spots, have reported strange and unsettling phenomena. They speak of whispers carried on the wind, words that seem to form just at the edge of hearing, impossible to make out but undeniably human. They report the sound of footsteps, echoing along the stone pathways, where absolutely no one is walking. In the dead of night, they've seen shadows stretch and move across the battlements, behaving in ways that defy the logic of light and physics. Some of the most famous stories are linked to the legend of Lady Meng Jiang. The tale goes that her husband was forced to work on the wall and died. Overcome with grief, she traveled to the wall and wept so bitterly, so inconsolably, that a section of it collapsed, spilling hundreds of human bones out into the open. Some say the mournful cries heard on the wind are hers, still searching for her lost love. It started with whispers, but it didn't end there. As more people began to explore the wall, especially the less traveled sections, the reports became more vivid, more terrifying. Visitors started describing actual apparitions. They would see figures in the distance, what looked like faceless laborers crouched behind stones, as if still toiling away after centuries. They'd see the silhouettes of phantom soldiers standing guard in crumbling watchtowers, only for the figures to vanish the moment they were approached. It's a common experience for people to feel an overwhelming sense of being watched, even when they're completely alone. And it's not just a feeling. Technology seems to go haywire in these spots. Cameras will suddenly malfunction, refusing to take a picture. Batteries that were full a moment before will drain completely. Flashlights will flicker and die without explanation. And then there's the cold. A sudden, bone-chilling drop in temperature that has nothing to do with the weather. A cold spot that feels like death itself has just passed by. To truly understand the haunting, you have to understand the sheer scale of the human cost. Just during the Ming Dynasty, it's estimated that thousands of workers died every single year. Imagine that. Year after year, 4 decades. The conditions were horrific. Workers would fall from the steep cliffs into deep pits. Others were buried alive when sections of the wall they were constructing suddenly collapsed on top of them. Their bodies remained there, trapped inside the stone and mortar, hidden from the world for centuries. You are literally walking over a mass grave. One modern explorer who ventured into a remote, crumbling section wrote about his experience in his journal. He said, "I felt the stones shift beneath me, as if the wall itself resented my presence." It was the last entry he ever made. He went missing shortly after, and his body was never found. His story is just one of many, a chilling reminder that the wall doesn't always welcome visitors. There are parts of the Great Wall you won't find on any tourist map. These are the remote, unrestored sections, often called the Wild Wall. They are largely abandoned, crumbling, and reclaimed by nature. And it is here that the strangest reports come from travelers who dare to hike these areas, tell stories that sound impossible. They talk about paths that seem to change overnight. A route they took one day is simply gone the next. They describe watchtowers that appear to be much closer than they were before, as if they are moving on their own. But the most common and terrifying experience is the unshakable feeling of being followed. The sound of footsteps crunching on gravel just behind you, but when you spin around, there's nothing there. Some people who have gotten lost in these sections believe the wall itself is alive, a sentient being that actively moves its corridors and changes its layout to confuse and trap intruders, to add them to its collection of souls. As the sun begins to set, a palpable change comes over the wall. An unspoken rule is observed by almost all locals who live in its shadow. You do not go near the wall after dark. By nightfall, they refuse to enter. They know what lurks there. There are stories passed down through generations, warnings about what happens to those who disrespect the dead. Certain towers along the wall, even in more frequented areas, are permanently sealed shut with stone and mortar. No official explanation is ever given. No historical reason is cited. They are simply closed off, as if to contain something inside. The Great Wall is not just stone and mortar. It is not just a triumph of engineering. It is a graveyard. It is a guardian. And it is always, always watching. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you found this as fascinating as I did, hit that subscribe button, and we'll explore more of the world's dark secrets together. They say the Great Wall of China is the only man-made structure visible from space. That's a myth. But the real stories, the ones whispered in the dark, are far more terrifying than any legend. The Great Wall stretches for thousands of miles, a silent dragon of stone and earth. By day, it's a marvel of engineering, a testament to human will. But when the sun sets, something ancient and malevolent awakens within its stones. The tourists leave, the guides lock the gates, and the locals stay far, far away. Why? Because they know the wall has secrets. They know it's more than just a wall. It's a tomb, a monument built on the bones of 1,000,000 souls. And at night, those souls don't rest. This isn't just folklore. This is what happens when you dare to walk the Great Wall after dark. Those who have tried, the brave or the foolish, tell stories that will freeze your blood. Some ran screaming into the night, pursued by shapes they couldn't see but could feel breathing down their necks. Others woke up safely in their own beds, miles away, only to find a trail of dusty, ancient footprints leading from the locked door right up to their bedside. And then there are the ones who never returned at all. No trace, no explanation. They were simply gone, swallowed by the wall. You see, the wall doesn't need to chase you. It's patient. It just waits. Over the years, paranormal investigators have flocked to the wall, drawn by its dark reputation. Their findings are unsettling. In the abandoned, crumbling sections, away from the restored tourist spots, the activity is off the charts. They report shadows, tall and slender, standing motionless on the battlements, watching. They hear whispers on the wind, names spoken in languages dead for 1,000 years. Objects move on their own, a loose stone skittering across a path when no one is looking. A forgotten tool from centuries ago, appearing where it wasn't a moment before. One team set up recording equipment in an old watchtower, hoping to capture electronic voice phenomena. They left it running all night. When they played it back, they heard faint, rhythmic chanting. Excited, they rushed back to the tower to investigate further, but the tower was gone. Or rather, the entrance was. A solid wall of collapsed rubble blocked the doorway. It looked like it had been that way for centuries. But their own maps, their own photos from the day before, showed it standing open. It was as if the wall itself had sealed its secret, erasing the way in. Perhaps the most famous ghost of the Great Wall is that of Lady Meng Jiang. Her story is a tragedy known all across China. Her husband was forced into labor to build the wall and died from the brutal conditions. His body, like so many others, was simply thrown inside the structure, becoming part of its foundation. Heartbroken, Meng Jiang traveled for hundreds of miles, finally reaching the section where her husband had died. She wept for 3 days and 3 nights, her sorrow so profound, so earth-shattering, that the wall itself crumbled before her, revealing her husband's bones. Legend says she never left. Her spirit still walks the ramparts, her sorrowful cries echoing through the lonely watchtowers. Her grief is a beacon, a psychic pull on the souls of the dead buried within the stone. Locals warn against following the sound of her weeping. Those who do are drawn into the wall's embrace and are never seen again. Some even claim to have seen bones, bleached white and ancient, rising from the cracks in the stone when her ghostly lament is at its peak. Historians might dismiss it as a poignant myth, but the people who live in the shadow of the wall, they know her tears are real. But Lady Meng Jiang isn't the only one trapped here. The wall is a mass grave, and it holds its dead captive. Stories tell of its guardians, the phantom legions bound to protect it for eternity. There are the faceless laborers, their forms barely visible, still trapped within the very stones they were forced to lay. You can sometimes see the faint outline of a hand or a face pressed against the rock, as if trying to push its way out. There are the spectral soldiers, a silent army that marches endlessly along the battlements. They patrol their posts, just as they did in life, their armor glinting in the moonlight, making no sound. And then there are the most disturbing figures, the ones that only move when you're not looking. You'll catch a glimpse of a shape out of the corner of your eye. You turn your head, and it's just a statue, or a strange rock formation. But the moment you look away, you feel it move again, getting closer. The wall isn't haunted in the way a house is. A house has a ghost or two. The wall has millions. It doesn't just haunt, it counts. It remembers every single soul within it. Modern visitors experience this oppressive energy all the time, even during the day. People report sudden, crippling dizziness, a feeling of vertigo as if the wall is trying to throw them off. Cameras and phones, fully charged, will suddenly die. Batteries drain in an instant. It's as if something is drawing power from them, or perhaps it just doesn't want to be recorded. You always have the distinct, prickling sensation that you are being watched, not by one pair of eyes, but by thousands. This is why so many sections of the Great Wall are sealed off from the public. The official reason is always safety concerns or the need for preservation, but the truth is darker. Certain sections were closed because too many people, strangers, from different times, with no connection to each other, reported the exact same terrifying experiences. The same faceless figures, the same disembodied whispers, the same feeling of being hunted. The authorities realized something was happening that they couldn't explain or control. The wall reacts to visitors. It adapts. It seems to test those who walk upon it, and for those it deems unworthy or disrespectful, it punishes. The wall remembers everything that happens on it, every footstep, every word, every death. So, if you ever find yourself walking the Great Wall of China, and the sun begins to set, listen to this final warning. Do not linger. Do not let nightfall catch you on its stones. Do not touch the stones more than you have to. You don't know what hand last touched them, or what's trapped inside. And, above all, if you hear whispers on the wind, if you hear a woman crying in the distance, do not follow the sound. Turn around and walk away as fast as you can. Because the Great Wall does not forgive. It never forgets, and it counts every single step you take on its back. Some monuments were never meant to be built. Some walls were never meant to be crossed. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Tales of the Dark, where every story gives you a nightmare.